What is good? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, so a little Chris Watts mock trial 2.0 for you. The gang unit. If you guys don't know about the gang unit, you about to. Again, hello to everybody joining for boom. Oh, New Orleans ladies here, man. Look out. Again, Truth and Transparency, Chris Watts mock trial 2.0. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm loving the weather still. It is not snowing here, so can't beat it. Boom. Again, just going to point out some things from the gang unit. They basically take the stand today, so a fun interactive way to, learn about the case if you're obsessed with the case. The gang unit are the people that followed Chris. Nope, they're the ones, two guys, Darren Ford and Michael D. Prill. They're the ones that did the 50-page report. They did they extracted a logical extraction of the cell phones of Nicole, Chris's work phone, Chris's personal phone, and then Shanann's. So, what is up, Vicky? Yeah, so again, I'll start this in about two minutes. Vicky, hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, I'll show it on the screen as well. So something that this picture really points out here, though, if anybody is ever questioned, was Shanann's phone on? Was it off from jump? Well, this picture right here, I use this for a reason. Right there, delivered. That's the text from Cassie to Shanann. And this is on Cassie's end. Honey, you have me worried about you. Please tell me you're okay and just don't want to talk. Delivered. That was iPhone to iPhone. And the only way it's going to show delivered is if that phone of Shanann's was on. And this was the 10:03 a.m. text message. It was 9 o'clock in Arizona that Monday morning. But it would be 10:03. And that's why it goes through and it comes up at, 10:03. It was delivered. Shanann, yep, she had an iPhone. So, but that's what that is right there. So anybody out there that's going to try to tell you that Shanann's phone was off because Chris shut it off before he went to work, that is 100% not true. What is up, Maple Beeve in the house? Maple Beeve in the house. Again, this is the text message from Cat. This is a screenshot of Cassie's to Shanann that morning, 10:03 a.m. Honey, you have me worried. Okay, again, it delivered on her end. That means it was on and it went through. And that's exactly why, the phone records in the timeline transactions, they show that. But then after that point, they don't want to give out any other information except that, I want to say at 10:06, there was a debt collector that called, left a message. So yeah, today who's taking the stand the gang unit, and that would be, I've always referred to them as the gang unit, and it's the two gentlemen that did the logical extractions of all the cell phones. So, and I even took it upon myself to have, you guys will be able to see, as these people are taking the stand, you'll be actually able to see the documents. So, what is up, Jeremiah? Someone said that I'm in the hospital tomorrow. Shit times. Hope you're doing okay. Oh my God. Well, we're gonna pray for you, Vicky. That's no good. No hospital. All right, guys, here we go. I actually probably can make that just a tad bit bigger. Oh boy. That's like hella big. You guys probably like that though. There. Bigger's better, right? All right, so basically, again, these two gentlemen, Agent Darian Ford, as well as you can see up there, Detective Michael D. Prill of the gang unit. That's where the name came from, by the way. And these were guys that were brought in. This is D.A. Rorick's team, man. Got the CBI off of this, got, Jillian Ganley off of this, and got his guys on it. So how I'm going to treat this is with the prosecution side, this would be one of their witnesses. So basically, I'm going to just briefly go over, what these two gentlemen did, how they would be kind of like testifying to just like the facts surrounding what they did, and then go into like a cross-examination of the shit job that they did. So, and that'll start in just 1 minute. All right, raise your right hand there, Mr. Gang Unit. This is Michael D. Prill. He's taking the stand. He's sworn in. Again, this would be a state's witness here. Oh, good morning, Tam Tam. You're just getting up and getting at it. Here we go. All right, can you state for the record, his name, where he worked, how long he worked, things of that nature? So Officer Detective Prill, you were brought in to assist in the investigation. And can you kind of describe your role in the investigation? So he'd be saying things like, so you guys can follow along. Well, yes, on about like August 22nd, Frederick Police Department and Weld County DA, they formally requested that I was needed with the homicide investigation of the Chris Watts case. When they put in that request, it was granted on August 22nd. About on August 24th, I then met with Detective Bumhauer, the DA, Michael Rorick, and the Assistant District Attorney, Miller. It was decided my endeavor would be with the organization of the investigation while simultaneously identifying any and all necessary follow-up investigation. On August 29th, I then attended a briefing at the Frederick Police Department. Agencies represented included the District Attorney's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, and the FBI. The purpose of the briefing on August 29th was to establish a chain of command and the assignment of various tasks. Then on September 6th, I assisted Bumhauer with the construction of warrants to search assorted cellular phones that were seized during the investigation. They were secured through a Judge Quayman that afternoon, so we got those search warrants on September 6th. Also that day, Bumhauer interviewed a woman claiming to have an affair with Chris Watts. And there was a change in our recording equipment at the Greeley Police Department. Let's see what else happened that day. Let's see. Let's see here. Yep, so I mainly assisted with the cell phones with Darian Ford, and oversaw that logical extraction of the data from the phones. And went over, it was like a 50-page report, as well as, let's see what else. I also went through the applications on the phone, but that's pretty much in that 50-page report. All right, we're going to go over that that logical extraction. Can you kind of describe what a logical extraction is, from a Cellbrite dump. In terms of what do you mean when you took over the cell phones to make a timeline and to create a report that was 50 pages? Absolutely, I can do that. Again, this is Michael D. Prill talking about this 50-page report and what he did during this investigation. This would be like a direct examination. He would be a state witness, and talking about everything that he did, pointing out key parts that the prosecution wants you to hear to create their narrative. And then he will be crossed up. Well, I think a better person to actually describe like what they did with as far as like extracting the data, Darian Ford, is the expert on that, because we did take everything over there to the lab. It was the Northern Colorado Forensic Laboratory that we took it to. And that's where Agent Darian Ford conducted the logical extraction. So I just took his logical extraction and I comprised it into a report and went over it. So the date of your report was 10/30/2018. Yeah, that's the date that it was actually typed up and submitted. Have you ever done a logical extraction? Oh, yes, I have. Okay, so then can you describe when you do a logical extraction, what that would entail? Absolutely. During a logical extraction of the data, it is usually not inclusive of all data stored, especially in this case. So the data that we extracted was from the different devices. They were all different. They were all numbered, 40, 41, 42, 43. Starting at 40 was Chris's work phone. Item 41 was Watts's personal phone. Item 42 was Shanann's personal phone, and then item 43 was Kessinger's personal phone. So what we did is we took the past 6 weeks. So from the day of August the 13th, we went all the way back 6 weeks. So the first date that we began, and what we did is we took all the information, which would be from their phone, like calling as far as texting, and then Google their internet activity. So the first date that we did was May 29th, 2018. And then it went all the way until the 50 pages included. Let's see what that last date was. I believe it was, August 19th. August 19th. So it began on May 29th, and it went till August 19th. And that's 2018. So for this case, when we were doing this, for example, like Watts, he had a secret calculator application uploaded to his personal phone. So that would be item 41, his phone. This application, by all appearances, is an operable calculator. When the user enters a secret passcode, the application reveals its true purpose, which is it's a concealed storage device for photographs, videos, contacts, even private browsers. In mid-July in 2018, Watts began transferring images from his camera application into the secret calculator application. This activity is not reflected within the phone's timeline. Locating those transferred images proved challenging for us And out of mere curiosity for myself, I was taking different pictures and I was following, where they came from. And that's actually how I came across locating an image not highlighted in the timeline, and I reviewed the path within the file information and noticed that it included the words secret calculator. Using the find feature, I searched the 12,000 images stored in the phone's memory using the keyword secret calculator. I located a vast collection of images otherwise undetected during my review that are stored within this application. I wrote in my report that day that in the near future, a follow-up warrant will be sought to manually search through Chris Watts' personal cell phone to be able to access the secret calculator. That search will include any additional photographs or videos, any browser activity, and information related to the installation date. Amongst the other installed applications found on that phone, I also suggested that the same warrant seek permission to manually inspect the alarm clock, the Apple Watch, and the Vivint applications. Again, from the UFED reader, I exported a list of all installed applications found within the Item 41 device, and there was a copy of all the apps on there. It was in that report. A further review of that list may identify additional applications to search. When we do the extraction, this report was accompanying a 50-page document. It is all in chronological order, again, spanning from May to August. And then following each entry is information that is directing the reader to the location that specific entry was located within the Cellbrite report files. That's why after each, we'll put it up here so you guys can see it. After each entry, we located to show where we pulled that from. For example, where it says at 10:06 hours, Shanann shared an ultrasound image of her unborn son. Right there, how it says 42 timeline 151685. So we're letting you know that it was from, item 42, which was Shanann's phone. And then that's the timeline transaction 151685. Right up above that, 0920 hours, a log entry appears for the secret calculator in Watts' phone. And then that was from item 41, which was Watts' personal phone. And then the timeline, 7289. Again, we highlighted within the box brackets to identify the device item and then which file and the entry numbers within that file. Again, using that example that I just gave you guys, that tells you where you can locate what we put on the report. For the images, the reader can either open the images within the timeline or return to the Apple device advanced logical report. Open the images data file within the file content and then locate images. That's what the HEIC would stand for whenever you're seeing an image. The image data files may at times provide additional information related to the image than what is found in the timeline entry. This can include metadata, identifying the location that photo was taken, the device that took the photograph, as well as dates of images modification. The high efficiency image file format, which is the HEIC files, that's what it stands for, high efficiency image file format, is an enhanced version of MPEG files. It is a newer Apple operating system. Many computers, mine included, may require a minor program modification before accessing and viewing those images. As far as this report goes, any observations or conclusions made during my review are noted in italics and standalone paragraphs or highlighted within the curly brackets. Again, that would be anything that's in italicized right here. You could see frequently throughout the day, Shanann searched the internet for couples counselors. She also accepted a prayer chain focused on their relationship. That is in italicized. That would mean that is my own words, my observation, and then therefore that was a standalone paragraph and put in italicized. Well, hello there, Mod Squad. And again, you used 4 devices to do this. Yes, I used the cell phone of Shanann and Chris, and then Nicole Kessinger's, all their personal 3 cell phones right there, and then used Chris's work cell phone. And those were numbered item 40, 41, 42, and 43. And do you recall when you began this logic extraction? I'd have to check my notes. But I believe, we were brought in, and this began, I want to say September 6th is when I believe we took over the phones. And then we brought the phones back into evidence on October, I want to say 16th. I think those are the dates. And then the report was written up and submitted, like I said, on October 31st. Okay. During your data extraction, your logical data extraction, Mr. Prill, what were you able to see a pattern of? Well, it was clear that the locations of the cell phones for the majority of those 6 weeks, Chris was in Colorado and Shanann was in North Carolina. There was obvious signs of a struggling marriage and lots of activity between as far as cell phone texting and a lot of internet browsing. So much so that it was like 150,000 timeline transactions that were in Shanann's phone, 34,000 in Nicole's, 40,000 in Chris's, stuff like that. A lot of activity. There was 99,000 images in Shanann's phone. There was 12,000 images in Chris's personal phone. Nicole Kessinger's phone, 8,400. There was a lot of deleted messages from Chris's phone. And same thing with Nicole Kessinger's phone. Obviously, this 50-page report, it could be 500 pages for as much activity. But we went with what we deemed was important and showed a pattern of, like I said, it was a struggling marriage, a lot of arguing, and then infidelity. All right, no more further questions. So now Mr. Prill would get cross-examined, and this is going to be the cross-examination of the gang unit. Well, hello there. This one's from Mod Squad, too, because I know that she's just driving, probably listening. I'm passenger now? Getting the car all worked up? Good, you can listen to me in your earphones. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. All right, Mr. Prill, we're going to go back to the beginning here. When you stated that you were brought in August. Is that correct? You said August 22nd. And you were debriefed, and you were in meetings with the district attorney and the assistant district attorney, and just you. Let me pull up an image here for you. All right, Mr. Prill, can you go ahead and can you see that? Since you work with iPhones, when a message is delivered like that, and it shows like the words delivered underneath the message that comes through, can you tell us what that means? Well, I might need a little bit more information, but if that's an iPhone, and is that a picture of the person that sent the message? Okay, that's letting me know that my message to them was delivered. Okay, and if there was no delivery sign underneath that bubble there, what would that mean? Well, it would tell me that that message has not yet met its final location. Okay. So when you did your logic extraction report on the day of the homicide, on August the 13th, I was going and I was looking at your report here, and I noticed that there was a bunch of timeline transactions missing. And one of those being this, let's see. I just want to turn to the right page here for you. It's going to be on page 42. Okay. I'm going to actually try to do something for you and take a picture of this, and then you can be able to see it more clear, Mr. Prill. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. You should be able to see that, Mr. Prill. Okay, perfect. So this is where you see at the, there's italicized there, it says, this is the last outgoing communication found on Shanann's phone. And that was, is that the Shanann told Cassie they had landed at the 125? Okay. So that's just the last outgoing, but that's not the last incoming. Okay. What about as far as when you say like the last outgoing communication? Would that actually also be communicating with the phone itself, like to turn the phone off, to turn the phone on? Is that considered a communication? Yeah, but that would be internal. That's an internal communication. But this is, the last outgoing communication. Okay, so there is such a thing of internal communication. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So in your report here, it says at 01:48 hours, the timeline here is, at 02:01 hours, in a group text, it says, we are home. And that's timeline transaction 307. Is that correct? 307? Okay. Now on the next page, you put at 02:18 hours, the home router logged an unspecified activity in Watts's phone at 02:18. Then in parentheses, you put, or in italicized rather, at 05:48 hours, Watts left the home with the bodies of his family piled in the back seat of his truck. Okay. But that's in italicized because that's just your opinion. Is that correct? But that has nothing to do with the extraction. So I guess my question is is it customary for you to just write your opinions about stuff that has nothing to do with data being extracted? Moving on. At At 08:25 hours, Watts made a staged 23-second call to Shanann's phone. Do you recall that? I'm going to show you the page so you can see it. Okay, there it is. Right there at 08:25 hours, Watts made a staged 23-second call to Shanann's phone. Now, you put 40-TL7786. Do you recall this? So my question is this in fact isn't correct, is it? This 40 dash with the timeline, 40 meaning the phone. You're saying that this came from the work phone of Chris Watts, okay? And see, it took me a minute to see what the heck was going on here, but right above this at 0755, it says 40 dash, that says timeline 6584. Okay, so when I actually saw this and I saw the timelines, I was like, holy, like we're missing like 1200. But then what I realized is we're not missing any timeline transactions, in fact. In fact, this just didn't come from the work cell phone. This came actually from his personal cell phone, which would be item number 41. But here it is marked as item 40. Is there a reason that this was marked 40 instead of 41? When you extract this data, do you have to fill in this? Are you putting down what phone it came from? Is there a reason that there is not one mistake when it comes to cell phone numbers, in terms of item numbers, in terms of those were labeled items for evidence purposes? So 40 was his work phone, 41 was his personal phone, 42 was Shanann's personal phone, and then 43 is Nicole Kessinger's personal cell phone. You don't make a mistake when it comes to the phones, Mr. Prill. And all these pages, we're at page 45, and this is only a 50-page report. You don't make any mistakes with any of the phones as far as getting this mixed up until the day of the homicides. Now, I don't know who put you in charge of this, Mr. Prill, okay? But the amount of mistakes I'm about to show you that you and Darian Ford made on a very crucial day in an investigation, which would be the day of the homicides. Isn't it true, Mr. Prill, that you were trying to make it seem like my client made these phone calls from his work phone to make it seem like his personal phone was not on him and in his pocket? Because you just don't do it there, Mr. Prill. You go, and we'll get to that. So, 8:25, Watts made a staged 23-second call to Shanann's phone. Now, this again would be an opinion, wouldn't it, Officer Prill? How do you know that this is a staged phone call? You don't. In an investigation like this, you're extracting the data, and the data should read, Watts made a 23-second call to Shanann's phone. Isn't that correct? You, Officer Prill, put the word staged in there. And that should actually be italicized, shouldn't it? Because that's your opinion, isn't that? Now, right after that, at 8:26 hours, Watts searched the internet, okay, for Primrose School of Erie at Vista Ridge. Seconds later, he called the school and held a 1-minute conversation. If you look at that, you see 7786, and then it goes to 7789. If you look at the times, though, 0825, and then that's 1 minute, and then literally the next minute, 826. But there's 87 and 88. Those are missing timeline transactions. Don't you think that would be very important to know on the day of the homicides? There shouldn't be any timeline transactions missing. Again, he doesn't do that, though. You put 40 down. He does that from his actual personal cell phone, which is item number 41. Again, now you make a second mistake. He haven't made one in terms of the phone item numbers, the whole report until this day. Now, during this call, because this is going to be your italicized, during this call, Watts told staff that his daughters would not be attending school there any longer. And then you reference, I believe that's CBI S27. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Officer Prill, that would mean that you conferred with CBI to get that information. Is that correct? From an interview from CBI. Well, yes, that's exactly how I got it. Perfect. Thank you. So prior to you coming on and being part of this investigation, you mentioned that there was the FBI and the CBI, as well as Frederick Police Department. Yep, that's correct. Do you know who was handling the logic data extraction before you took over in September? That'd be CBI agent Jillian Ganley. Perfect, thank you. So did you work hand in hand with Jillian Ganley then? Did you get her information? Would your data and the way that it was logically extracted, do you think that it would match hers? Moving on. At 9:05 here, Shanann's phone had an appointment reminder scheduled for this time. Her medical appointment. Again, that's in brackets. So 9:05, Shanann's phone had an appointment reminder scheduled for this time. Did it in fact say doctor's appointment? Did that say doctor's appointment? Okay, 9:05. Seconds later, Watts called Ann Meadows, realtor, and had a 3-minute, 40-second conversation. And again, you put it that he was using his work phone, but meanwhile, he was actually using phone 41. But you actually don't put a timeline, a time next to it. You just say seconds later, Watts called Ann Meadows. Seconds later from what? Seconds later after Shanann's phone alarm goes off? Or is it actually seconds later from the, 8:26 phone call? Because you see where my arrow's kind of pointing up there, Officer Prill? Because it's actually not in order, is it? That second later that Watts called Ann Meadows, that phone call right there, it actually happens before the 9:05 of Shanann's phone alarm. You know how I got that? Yeah, that's right. Ann Meadows. Now we get to this part. 10:06 hours. Central Health Physician Group Women's Health in Erie called Shanann's phone and left a message. Okay, 10:06. Now, you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt that I am here, Officer Prill. Where is the 10:06, or I'm sorry, the 10:03 phone call that Cassie, it wasn't a phone call, I'm sorry, the text message that Cassie sent at 9:03 a.m. Arizona time, which would be 10:03 a.m. Mountain time. 10:03 a.m. Remember the last exhibit that I pointed to and I said, what does that mean when it says delivered? Oh, that means it went through. Okay. So it was delivered. So that means her phone was on. But yet in this logical extraction here, you don't think it's important to note that at 10:03 a.m., Shanann's phone received a text message? Considering that the text message read, Officer Prill, let's see. Honey, you have me worried about you. Please tell me you're okay and just don't want to talk. You know, that sounds like a very, very interesting and that That almost sounds like that's what Nicole Atkinson said. That she said. When she talked to the police officers. Monday at 9 a.m. How are you doing, honey? Monday, 9:03 a.m., which would be 10 a.m. and 10:03. Honey, you have me worried about you. Please tell me you're okay and just don't want to talk. Do you see those in your logic extraction? No. Can I ask why not? This is of a friend being worried. Okay. You see this right here? Officer Pro C42, where it says 153311, and then it says 153315. We're missing we're missing 12, 13, and 14. We're missing 3 timeline transactions. I know of 2 of them because I just told you them. But then that means that there's another one missing. And it would be between the hours of 9:05 and 10:06. Okay? Is there a reason that you left out these 3? The only reason I have the 2 is because I'm just really, really good. But you're doing logic data extractions on the day of the murder, and Shanann's friend texted her. Isn't it because, Mr. Prill, you did not want it known that those came through at the time that they came through on? Because then it would prove that her phone was in fact on, not off, like the body cam shows when they get there and find that phone, it was turned off. Isn't it true, Officer Pro, that Shanann's phone was on and then somebody turned it off? Isn't that true? Well, yes, Shanann's phone was turned off. And isn't it Cassie's text message that says delivered at, it would have been 10 o'clock and 10:03, those 2. All right? Delivered. For Cassie's phone to say delivered, that would mean Shanann's phone was on at 10 o'clock in the morning. And if you did your job, Officer Prill, you would be able to see internally when it was turned off, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you also be able to tell, Officer Prill, what time that voicemail was actually listened to? Because as you wrote, they left a message at 10:06. So if somebody got to her phone and actually entered the passcode, saw that there was a voicemail and listened to it, they would then know that there was a doctor's appointment because it was a doctor's message. Okay, perfect. Now, so right now we have 1, 2, 3 mistakes on page 45. And for whatever reason, you are taking it and making it seem like Chris was making calls from his work phone when he was actually, in fact, making calls from his personal cellular device. Okay. When you were doing your logic data extraction, right? Did you see any messages from Nicole Atkinson between the times of 8 a.m. and 10:06 a.m.? No. Did you see any text messages, any phone calls? No. Did you preserve the Facebook applications for those involved? Yes, we did. I noticed that there is no references to any type of Facebook phone calls, any, Facebook messaging. Yeah, we hadn't got to that. We didn't go that far as putting in a report. So this is without the Facebook application. Yes. Okay. But wouldn't Facebook application be part of your browser? It depends. It depends if you're using an app to get into Facebook. Okay. Okay. So you then note a bunch of battery lyrics. Let's see here. But I can't help but notice 7793 to 7798. Okay. During a following of the and disposing of their bodies at a desolate well site. Again, this would all be your, that's not logic that's coming from there, right? That's just, there's no extraction. That's just your opinion, right? Well, it was also based off of his confession. Well, he didn't confess to anything like that, though, at that point, when this would have been written up, would it? Where is timeline transaction 7801, 7800, and 7799 at? Why I say that is because when we actually turn to the next page, 7799 to 7801 is Sandy texting, "Is Shanann okay?" Watts made an unanswered call to Rusek. She called him back and held a 1-minute conversation. And you know that would be between 7799 to 7801. And that would be because you're treating that as 3 timeline transactions. So then therefore nothing's missing, if I'm doing that correctly. That's correct. It would be the text message, then he tried to call her, and then she called him. So 3 transactions. Perfect. So the 7801, 7800, 7799, those are accounted for in the next page. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Now, and we're going to back up to 7:18 a.m. It says that Watts took a photograph of his laptop screen, presumably sitting in his truck. And so at 7:18, he's sitting in his truck, and he takes a photograph with his personal cell phone, as you note, number 41. And you say that the metadata confirms Watts was at the survey coordinates. The image is apparently only in thumbnail format, and when you enlarge it, it blurs out the writing on the laptop screen. Okay. Then at 7:40, you again make a mistake and you make it seem like it is his work phone that is making a staged text message to Shanann saying at 7:40, if you take the kids somewhere, please let me know where they are at. Again, mixing up the phones. And again, you don't have this problem ever until the day of the murders. Now, is there a reason at 7:40 you would need to make it seem like my client was using his work phone versus his actual personal phone? Isn't it, in fact, because you didn't want it to look like my client had his personal phone on him? Because, in fact, Melissa Parrish, and in her interview said that when she was driving up in that truck that morning, that Chris was digging and he was on his phone when they were rolling on up. Which would put Chris with his personal cell phone and not in the vehicle, in the truck, just laying there. And isn't it true, because you were trying to hide why there was no stairs being walked up by my client that day in his data? You made it seem like during the certain times that he did not have his phone on him. Isn't that correct? So, moving on, I'm going to show you a picture here so you can follow along. Okay. All right, go ahead and look at your screen here. Oh, feel better there, Jamie. Yep, listen along. All right, there you go, Officer Prill. Take a look at that. Okay. So once again, you leave out 7802 is missing. 7822 to 7824 is missing. 7826 to 27 missing. 7843 missing. Now, you would think that those would be kind of important, the day of the homicides. And yet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I have a question. Page 46, you say, Watts has proven a keen interest in song lyrics. Okay, he is no doubt familiar with this song. He attended the Metallica concert held in Denver on June 7th, 2017. I recognize the photographs he took at the concert and stored in his phone on that date. I was there. Now that's really like, woo! That lets me know that someone's really on the ball. Looking through all these photos, I mean, he had like 12,000 some photos. But the question here is Denver, Metallica, that is June 7, 2017. That's not within the time frame that you were doing extractions. In fact, I mean, that's a good year before. So when the DA says it would be a typo for Nicole Kessinger to have Googled Shanann because it was outside of the extraction period, it is in fact not a typo, is it? Because you had the ability, like you said, to see all of this. Clearly, June 7th, 2017, you're able to say that that was the Denver concert because you were there and, you know, you went through enough stuff to, you know, blah, blah, blah here. But that was not within the 6 weeks, was it? No. So you were being very thorough, weren't you? Or what seems like you would be very thorough. That's why it's really strange to me that you could possibly mess up what phones were doing what on the day of the homicide. Oh, thank you, Jennifer Cole. I appreciate that. So everybody out there that wants to go with this would have been a typo on May, let me give you the date. I don't want to, let's see. September 1st, 2017, Kessinger searched the internet for the name Shanann Watts. I, in fact, do believe that that, in fact, happened. Especially if it's within the period of time of her being hired at Anadarko. Okay? For the record. Because this is a logical extraction. And based off of this man's movements of what he was doing and putting in, you know, italicized and things that he wants to write. And the guy was looking at everything. Okay? The guy just didn't pull the dates from a certain period of time, like they said, to a certain period of time, like they said. How do I know it? Right here tells me. Again, I repeat, the only way that this man would know this is if he was thoroughly going through, you know, everything. Looking at these pictures, boom, Denver, June 7th, 2017. How does he know that? Well, because of the picture. Because the picture has the metadata on it. And then he wants us to know that he was at that concert. Awesome. Thank you so much. continuing on. Okay. Now I have a question for you. You said that you worked with the other agencies and other officers, and you turned in your report not till October 31st, 2018. And you were one of the people that was, working with Baumhauer to organize it. Basically, you guys were like in command. So all these reports you got to see. And when you're looking at all these different reports, like that's helping with your, your logic extraction, which is going to be your narrative. Isn't that correct? Yes. Perfect. So you're aware then that Nicole Atkinson was interviewed, recorded, her and her son, August 20th, but that was not put into evidence until October 7th or 9th. Waited that long until it was actually made into a report. So that means you didn't write this report until October 31st. It was all typed up. So you would have had access, though, to Nicole Atkinson's Life 360 data. So I have a question, Mr. Prill, based on that. Okay. 12/17. Watt's phone received an alert from his Vivint panel. It says Vivint panel. Okay. 12/18. In response, Watts called Nicole and held a 1-minute conversation. Did you ever see Chris Watts's witness statement that he wrote up? His witness statement at 12:10, there's a visitor that the Vivint catches at 12:10. Isn't it possible that if you were to open the door from the inside and walk out onto the porch from the inside, that the same alert would happen with your Vivint? You'd be caught on camera. Also, Watt's phone received an alert from his Vivint panel. If you open the door from inside going out, and your phone does a 3 ding, like beep, 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 to let the door know that it opens, it would then trigger to the panel to set off a notification. And it would, read panel versus, visitor detected. See how this says 12/17 hours, Watt's phone received an alert from his Vivint panel. But where's the 12:10? Oh, that's the missing timeline transaction. Is there a reason that you didn't put down the 12:10 timeline transaction that was associated with the Vivint? Isn't it because Nicole Atkinson's 360 life doesn't get to the house until 12:20? How could Nicole Atkinson be there before her phone, if in fact she had her phone? In fact, Officer Prill, aren't all of these missed timelines, transactions with Shanann's phone and with Chris's phone, aren't they in fact all revolve around the Vivint application? So much so that you put in your report when you were done, you said that this needed to be, we need to get warrants for the Vivint so that we can manually do this with Vivint. Why would you need to manually do anything with Vivint? You seem to be getting the notifications here. Well, because it has to do with push notifications, some notifications. It was, yes, it was looking like there was a ton of notifications going off, and it just didn't seem possible because nobody was in the house. Why do you think nobody was in the house? The phone was on and then it was off. Who shut the phone off? Chris got there after the fact. Did the police shut it off? Did Nicole Atkinson shut it off? Did you not ask yourself these questions? Oh, you did actually ask yourself these questions. Because it doesn't add up, does it? It's impossible for Nicole Atkinson to be at that house, but her phone not be there. And we're not talking about 3 minutes. We're talking about 10 minutes. And that app isn't off 10 minutes, is it? That app is accurate, isn't it? So much so that there's a picture of her leaving at 12:47 on Nate's camera. It matches up with the Nate's camera time and her app sync perfectly. Jennifer, love you, girl. Moving on. Watts took 2 photographs of sunflowers in an open prairie. Right here. And italicized. These messages were also found in Shanann's phone, likely sent as a group text by Ann. What do you mean likely sent? I mean, Officer Prill, likely. I've caught on to your ways of doing things. Likely. I mean, you're adamant that Chris is staging messages, but this is likely. You had Ann Meadows' screenshots. She most certainly was in a 3-way text group with Chris, Shanann, and herself all morning, to the point of every time that Chris would text Ann, it would also go to Shanann's phone. Isn't that correct? And then every time that Ann texted, if it was going to Chris, it was actually going to the group, so it would be going to also Shanann's phone. Isn't that correct? you're kind of misleading here with your 1227. Ann Meadows told Watts, "Hi, I'm working on your market analyst. I would like to bring my listing coordinator with me when I bring it. Did you finish the basement? Any other upgrades?" The way that this looks, it looks like in Chris's phone, 53, 54, and 55. So that would be 3 timeline transactions, which would either mean one of the possibilities of 2 things. These were broken up into 3 separate text messages. Okay. Or if this was like, let's say, one message and there was like an auto reply, or that you're trying to hide a timeline transaction. Because when you actually look at Ann Meadows' screenshots and her text messages that she then shows, none of this is in the same order. In fact, you put things opposite order. To the point that you try to make it seem like Chris was doing things and lying to his realtor when he was not. Why? Why would you need to lie about anything? I mean, you can't sit here and say that you did all of such a great job, but then the day of the murders, everything is a fucking shit show. It doesn't make sense. And in fact, it shows that the whole thing is for shit. Hot ham radio. Hot ham. None of these motherfuckers could touch me on this case. And now here is where I would plow. This is where I would hit home on in closing it out with this guy, is to show everything that he did with Ann Meadows. He moved stuff in different orders. It's all right there. But I would go back to Mr. Prill. You mentioned during your direct examination that you just happened to look at a picture and you wanted to follow its path to see where this picture came from. And that's how you stumbled upon, the secret calculator. Because there's no way to detect this. Like you said it yourself in your report, you would need to get a warrant for the secret calculator application and go that route. Because none of this is going to show up in any timeline transactions. Because, you're trying to get to all that information and you're going to need it. You're going to need a warrant. That's what you wrote in the report, correct? Yes. But you just happen to have an inkling to take a picture and follow its path of where it originated from, and lo and behold, it went back to a secret calculator. It said in its name, secret calculator. Okay. Well, I thought about that. And then I thought about the day that you came on. You said that you were dialed up on August the 22nd. Isn't that correct? August 22nd. So I'm going to pull something up for you here, Officer Prill, and that's going to be your report dating when you started. Here we go. Okay, can you go ahead and see that right there? You said on August 22nd, the Frederick Police Department and the Weld County District Attorney's Office formally requested your assistance with this homicide. And that assistance the request was granted because you're from Greeley, right? Okay. And then on August 24th, you met with Detective David Bumhammer, the district attorney, and the assistant district attorney. And that was it. It was you, the two DAs, on August the 24th. August the 24th. How long do you and DA Rourke go back? You guys are buddies, aren't you? You're one of his go-to men, aren't you? You're somebody that he can go to and you'll get your hands a little dirty, won't you? Objection. So you said August 22nd. That's when you get the dial up, right? And you know what else happened on August 22nd? Let me show you what else happened. Detective Bum receives this. Well, actually, it happened on August 19th, but it was written up in a report. So then, therefore, it's official, and that's when people are like looking at stuff. Put in a report, then you can examine it. And here it is, right here. This is a anonymous email from a blind woman. And I always wondered, why in the hell did this make the discovery? You know how many tips there were? And then why would they ever put on blast this poor woman and what a hoe she is, you know? No redactions, nothing, man. Let's just call it as we see it, right here. Anonymous email. Well, in this anonymous email, I don't know her will helpful, but my ex-caregiver husband works for a company she calls ASCO, and I can only assume the company Chris Watts worked for. She said she was having an on-again, off-again affair with one of the guys that, God, I don't even know what she's saying. She is very promiscuous, and that's something not out of character. Something named Chris, I'd been talking to coming back. Again, this is a blind woman who is typing in. I'm sure she has, an awesome Braille computer. But right here, it says she is very promiscuous. She something named Chris, been talking to coming back this way back in May. They spoke through the calculator private message app of phones. Then it dawned on me that this was all about bringing the attention anonymously for the calculator app. And this report was written on August 22nd. Lo and behold, August 22nd, you're asked to come in. You're the one that's doing all the extractions on the phones. You come up with some bullshit about you traced back one of the pictures and, yada, 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 fuck, yada. None of that's true. But it was actually this anonymous person, that wanted to talk about Heidi Ferris and what a hoe she was. And how she communicated via the calculator app. But when I saw this, and that he worked for ASCO, as they call it, I knew I needed to say something. It's worth a check. She may by now have erased any messages, but if you have his phone, I'd check for that app. It's a calculator, but if you put a special code in, it becomes a text app. Good luck, and may this poor family rest in peace. And it was sent from an iPhone. The email is hard to read and at times does not make any sense. Additionally, there was no contact info attached, i.e. name, phone number, address, etc. Oh, and then she says, sorry, I'm partially blind. My typing skills are horrible. Hope you got the gist. End. The following two emails show a shape shot of contact information for a Dan Ferris, superintendent of ASCO, and also the contact information of ASCO, a pipe and fabrication company that appears to be a subcontractor for Anadarko. I printed out hard copies of all the emails and placed them in the case file. Boom. And then your date, August 22nd, 2018. Calculator app. Now, why the hell is my Watch the Obsession YouTube still blocked on this channel? I have no idea. I can't find it. Kelly, that's a great question because it shouldn't be. I went through and I can't find it anywhere. I can't. I've done it like on 4 different occasions. So I have no idea. One day it took like an hour. I went through like every single one. But yeah, 8/22. Mike D. Prill, 8/22. What you fucking think about that? Calculator app. That's how they found out about the calculator app. This shit. Let me show this again. Stop that screen. Pull up this. Almost done with you here, Mike D. Pro. I'm just planting it in your ass. Give me a couple more minutes. Now, it was you, Mike D. Pro, as I share this, when you came on that you basically were told, get CBI off this case. There you go. On August 22nd, there he is. August 24th, he met with them because this was going to be a fuck job. Rourke needed his people. On August 29th, Mike D. Pro, the gang unit, he attended a briefing at the Frederick Police Department. Agencies represented included the District Attorney's Office, CBI, FBI. The purpose of the briefing was to establish a chain of command and the assignment of various tasks. On September 6th, he doesn't say what those are. On September 6th, I assisted Bumhauer with the construction of warrants to search assorted cellular phones seized during the investigation. These were secured through a judge that afternoon. Also that day, Bumhauer interviewed a woman claiming to have had an affair with Chris. Now, that wouldn't be all that you write about, right? You had stuff to say in October, isn't that true? Yes, I did. So here, let's take a look at this. During your direct examination, they didn't bring up what transpired in October, did they? I don't recall. I've been on the stand for almost an hour and 35 minutes now. Okay. Well, you said that everything was in chronological order. Okay. How come when Nicole Kessinger's Google searches are put into the data extraction, how come her numbers are going the opposite way? Her numbers aren't going in chronological order. They're going backwards. Is there a reason for that? Nope. Hey, thank you there. YouTube, stop messing with us. If I want to hang out with my creative friends, I get to do that. I'm sorry. You are jealous. We're so smart. Yes. I'm going to figure it out, though, promise. But thank you for that. Thank you for the kind words there. Appreciate that. So yeah. Let me pull something up for you. Yeah, so hers were going the opposite way. Oh, they were? You know, what, huh? Is there a reason that you put the Colorado Bureau of Investigation gave you a report? It was report number 29. Report 29 from the CBI was Ann Meadows. All of her text messages. How could you possibly fuck it up to the point that you're putting it in a completely different order than they gave you? Again, now, did you come across Mike D. Prill at any point in time before 2:14 p.m.? Any messages from Nicole Atkinson through text or phone? No. Any calls or texts from Shanann's mom? No. Now that's just crazy. Because they call the school, but they don't call their daughter. Where's the logic in that, Officer Prill? To be honest with you, there is no logic in that. Okay. So then I want to point your attention, Officer Prill, to your shitty job. Some more here. Let me pull it up here for you. Those of you guys at home will love it. Once again, just want to go over this one last time, that Officer Prill, in fact, Shanann's phone was on at this time because of it being delivered. Isn't that correct? This would have been at 10:03 a.m. and 10 a.m. Back to backer. How are you doing, honey? Honey, you have me worried about you. 8 a.m. and 9:03 a.m. Please tell me you're okay and just don't want to talk. Those are from Cassie. The reason they say these times is because she's in Arizona. These are from her phone. But right under there, it says delivered, meaning what? Yep, that means it went through. That means that her phone was on. Otherwise, it would not have been delivered. Perfect. So Shanann's phone's on at 10:03 a.m. How does it get turned off? Because my client, you think he turned it off? In fact, you know when it was turned off because it was internally shut off, which would notify the phone, and you would know when it was turned off. Isn't that true? Yes. And my client was at work when it was turned off. Isn't that true? Yes. So somebody else was in that house. Isn't that true? Well, somebody else had that phone. Or Shanann. So by all accounts, Shanann could have been alive. By all accounts, somebody else is in that house. Nicole Atkinson was in that house with her son. Well, yeah. So that means that the last person to see the family alive could possibly be somebody other than my client. You watched all the footage. Did you see my client? Ever holding his wife, kids? Nope, that's not on camera. But what you do see is you see somebody going in that house, somebody lying about it, somebody turning off and on a phone, lying about it, and that would not be my client based on your extraction and the timelines that you left out. Isn't that correct? Isn't it so much correct that you had a problem with it, didn't you? And you put it in your report. Because at the last minute, you wanted to cover your ass. Isn't that true, Officer Prill? You got a little scared, didn't you? Let's take a look at it. Let's see how scared you got. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to pull up the second page of your report here. A report that the prosecution definitely doesn't want to talk about, but we definitely do. This was the second part of that first part of the report, talking about what you did in August, on the 22nd, on the 24th, then the 28th, September 6th. Then we get to this part. The department, it took several weeks to eventually download and preserve that recorded interview of that woman that you claimed that you were talking about, that Bumhauer, for whatever reason you wanted to put that in this report. We'll get to that because I could give two shits who my client fucks. Beginning on September 18th, I began my review and organization of the case file. So the 18th of September is when you began. Now, how could you organize and review things if you don't have everything? Well, that's just when I started it. Okay. On October 2nd, 2018, I met with Agent Darian Ford at the North Colorado Forensic Laboratory. I signed an evidence return receipt for the 4 cellular phones he forensically examined. Chris Watts' work phone, his personal cell phone, Shanann's phone, and Nicole Kessinger's phone. Isn't that correct? Yes. In addition, I collected a copy of the data Ford extracted from these phones during his forensic examination. Ford provided me 4 additional external drives with the same data downloaded to each. 4. Now, this would have been on October 2nd. Upon return to the Greeley Police Department, I secured a copy in my office. I opened the K-Pack sealed by Ford and removed 3 drives. 1 for the prosecution, 1 for the defense, and 1 to be used as a working copy by Detective Bumhauer. Isn't that correct? Yes. I sealed the remaining drive in a separate K-Pack along with the original packaging and initialed the seal to document chain of custody. Later that morning, I delivered the 2 drives to Investigator Kathy Holscher at the District Attorney's Office. Later that afternoon, I attended a briefing at the Frederick Police Department. I hand-delivered to Bumhauer the now organized case file, his working copy of the extracted phone data, the original drive intended for evidence, the phones I received from Ford, and the recorded interview Bumhauer conducted on September 6th. And that all happened on October 2nd. Isn't that correct? Yes. On October 5th, I preserved Watts' name summary report and inmate data from the Spillman database. In ordinance with the court's order, I did not preserve nor review, if available, any information contained within Watts' visitor logs. I also preserved 4 booking photographs of Watts contained in Spillman. Now here's the big one. October 11th, you attended a meeting involving members of the prosecution and Bumhauer, just like you did in the beginning when you met with the DA. You must be pretty special. And you said members of the prosecution. You don't name anybody, though. Do you recall who was there? Collectively, we identified a myriad of topics requiring attention during future follow-up investigation in this matter. For my part, the next step in my investigation will be a review of the data extracted from the phones. And now this is where this whole time one would believe that you were working on the data extraction from like in September. But you, in fact, didn't begin to put your 50-page report together until October 11th. Isn't that correct? And then you wrote up the report, October 31st, you submitted it. But you make sure on October 11th, you guys are stating that we have fucking problems. We have a lot of problems, don't we? There's a lot of things that need a lot of follow-ups. October 11th. Now let me show you something. Let me show you what is not in evidence yet at this point. And there's a reason for it. Because you pointed out. Here's to prove that what you say you did on October 2nd is in fact true. This is your evidence return receipt, October 2nd. Return to agency. Return to Officer Prill, Michael D. for the Greeley Police Department. Return by Ford. Return method hand-to-hand transfer. Chris Watts' work cell phone. Chris Watts' personal cell phone. Shanann. Nicole Kessinger. Again, all iPhones, except for his work phone. I'm sorry. It was still an iPhone. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. So when you wrote up your report 10/16/2018, but it was on 10/11 that you began to look at Darian Ford's stuff to come up with your 50-page report. Is that correct? Yes. And on 10/11 is also when you guys had that meeting and you listed out a whole bunch of things that needed to be looked into because you guys had some issues that needed to be followed up with. Okay, so 10/16 was when this report of you talking about what you did on the different days and who you met with. Now let me show you one last thing. I'm going to take a picture here so you can see it. That way you don't think I am lying to you. And my last question to you pertains to these dates. Okay. So the first set of dates here, this is a report number 73, so the date is when it was assigned and then when it was like finished. So on September 10th here on report 76, September 10th, but then by the time it was like, typed up, because it could have already been completed, but when it was typed up, would have been September 21st, and that would be the responded to Watts' residence twice for suspicious activity. Okay. So looking at here we go. Number 79. Number 78. These are Baumheimer, this is autopsies and evidence. 17th of August, the 16th of August, and then report was done and made on the September 25th. Okay. The 28 discs to be given to DA, that was report 80. These are the 28 discs to be given to the DA investigator. Go back just a little bit. There we go. Well, we get to right here. October 2nd. Mike Prill handed over all phone data from Watts Cassinger phones, Greeley to Frederick. And there's actually a report that's written up by Purcell. She writes it up. And her report is finished on October 9th. Okay? Because you handed over all the phone data from the Watts Cassinger phones. And her report is October the 9th. You see that? Can everybody see that? Now, Purcell, do you know who she is? She is in charge of all the evidence. Okay. And at first, you know, one has to be a really good investigator to catch something like this. I said, what the fuck? So yeah, I created this myself, guys, by the way. Right here. Every single report and what the report is about. I thought about that for a while there. I said, wait. October 9th? Mike D. Prill handed over all the phone data? October 2nd. And then on the 9th, a tip came in. And then also on the 2nd. And then on the 9th, Mike D. Prill handed over all of that. I said, well, let's take a look at this one more time. I was like, I don't think that's right. So... that's the interview right there of Amanda McMahon or whatever. That's the 16th, okay? So I got that. I was like, okay. Well, let's see what they really focused on after the 11th of October. Right here. August 20th, October 7th, October 4th, September 26th. Why did this go in on the 7th? Interview with Nicole and her son. Oh, screenshots of all the 360 life. Oh, that's why. Because that's 28 discs, all that stuff, giving over to the defense. This wouldn't have been in evidence yet. That's why they held on to it. August 20th. August 20th. This doesn't get put in to a written up report until October 7th. Why? Because they knew they were fucking lying. That's why they held on to it. Hold on, though. I love your screen sharing capabilities these days, Lena. You're really spot on. Thank you. Wait for it. Wait for this. I said, Michael D. Pro, wait a second. You just told me that you did something on the 11th, but how the fuck does the evidence person have it on the 9th? Right? How could she possibly have it already? I said, well, maybe because they all fucking lie. Just take a look. Bitches. Here it is. Take a look at this one more time. He said that he look at hand-to-hand transfers. Hand-to-hand transfers. Return to method. Hand-to-hand transfers. Evidence, return, receipt. Evidence, return, receipt. Return date, 10/2/2018, 8:42 a.m. Reason, return to agency. Description, return to Officer Prill from Greeley Police Department. Returned by Ford to him, handed it hand to hand on October 2nd. Gave him the phones. Okay? And this is the findings. So you got item 40, 41, 42, 43. Those are your 4 phones. Then you have the findings. Item CD2. Okay? Hand to hand. Boom. Gives it to Michael D. Prill. Okay? Sorry, it's blurry, but that's their fault, not mine. They all can suck a dick. And then he says he goes to October 2nd. This is what he wants. This is what he tells us he does. Oh my God. Michael D. Prill, excuse yourself. On October 2nd, I met with Agent Darian Ford at the North Colorado Forensic Laboratory. I signed an evidence return receipt for the 4 cellular phones he forensically examined. In addition, I collected a copy of the data Ford extracted from these phones. During his forensic examination, Ford provided me these extra drives. One for the defense, Upon return to the Greeley Police Department, I secured a copy in my office. I opened the K-Pack sealed by Ford and removed 3 drives. 1 for the prosecution, 1 for the defense, and 1 to be used as a working copy by Detective Bumhauer. I sealed the remaining drive in a separate K-Pack, along with the original packaging and initialed the seal to the document chain of custody. He said that he had 4. So Ford provided me 4 additional external drives. So in addition, I collected a copy of the data Ford extracted from these phones during his forensic examination. So basically he got 5. Ford provided me 4 additional external drives with the same data downloaded to each. So everybody understand that? It's not 4. He had 5. He has 5. He has, in addition, I collected a copy of the data, and then he has 4. Later that morning, I delivered the 2 drives to Investigator Kathy Holster at the District Attorney's office. That would be on October 2nd. Later that afternoon, I attended a briefing at the Frederick Police Department. I hand-delivered to Bumhauer the now organized case file, his working copy of the extracted phone data, the original drive intended for evidence, the phones I received from Ford, and the recorded interview Bumhauer conducted on September 6th. He gives everything to Bumhauer on the 2nd. On the 2nd. Does everybody see that? Everything is given to Detective Bumhauer on the 2nd. As far as phones, as far as the data, he has his working copy, but he provides, he goes to the district attorney's office, they get theirs. So everybody has, on October 2nd, stuff to look at. And this is really important because when you're thinking that only one person is looking at this data that was extracted by Ford, no, everybody was. Well, unless Bumhauer, like he does. I don't know what the fuck the motherfucker was doing, but wasn't fucking investigating. His reports come in like a month later, 2 months later, shit like that. But so everybody has a copy to look at it and can see we got issues. We have problems. Problems because what people said they did It's not possible because the phones aren't reflecting that. Make sense? AKA somebody like Nicole Atkinson. Also something along the lines of, when did the pressure really hit for Chris to make this plea deal? And it would be after October 2nd. Once this extraction was done in everybody's hands, okay, and everybody's looking at this, and that's why he says on October 5th, I preserved what's his name, summary, blah, blah. On October 11th, I attended a meeting involving Baumhover and members of the prosecution. Collectively, we identified a myriad of topics requiring attention during future follow-up investigation. For my part, the next step in my investigation will be a review of the data extracted from the phones. So he began on October 11th, reviewing it to come up with that 50-page report that everybody reads from October 11th until when he printed that up, which would have been October 30th. Okay? But here, they're sitting with the prosecution, they're looking at everything, and they're like, we are FUCK'd. Because somebody else was in that house. Somebody turned off that phone. Oh, wait. Look at where Shanann's phone went. Then you go back to October 9th. Mike Prill handed over all phone data from Watts Kessinger phones to Frederick Police Department. Well, the report, it was given to him on October 2nd, and the report was finalized on October 9th. So let's see what was in report number 89. Let's see. 89. Report 89, Baumhower. What'd you write? What'd you write? You sexy thing. 89. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When you pull up Report 89, it says, on 10/2 at approximately 1400 hours, Evidence Supervisor Purcell took custody of external hard drive from Mike Prill of Greeley Police Department. This hard drive contains all information retrieved from the executed search warrants for the Watts Kessinger phones. The hard drive was checked into Frederick Evidence Item 177. Mike Prill also returned phones belonging to Shanann Watts, Chris Watts, and Nikki Kessinger, which were then checked in and secured in the evidence room. Nothing further. Well, this happened on 10/2. Mike D. Prill says that he gives it all to Baumhover, okay? And Amanda Purcell is saying that she took custody from Mike D. Prill. So which is it? Far away? Who's far away? And why would something that was given on 10/2 need to be held on to and not written up a report until 10/9? Because you have to understand what that means. You can't turn over anything to the defense if it's not in its official report form. So that means that this was 10/2 was given over They held on to it, you guys. They held on to it. Why? Why would you tend to? I mean, if you're bringing it right to the damn evidence person, here you go. Like, wouldn't Mike D. Prill be saying that he turned it over to Amanda Purcell? No, he says he gave it to Detective Bumhauer. Why? And it's very simple. Why, guys? It's very simple. Because this couldn't go in yet. They held off because go and check the motions. The fucking defense was arguing and saying they're not turning over the discovery over and over and over. Give us the discovery. Give us the discovery. Okay? They were not getting shit. Well, everybody argues about this. But they do it on purpose. And this isn't the only county that does it. Every fucking county does it. Right here. I hand-delivered to Bumhauer the now organized case file, his working copy, blah, 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 blah. Does he say anything about Amanda Purcell? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Absolutely not. And are these important things? Well, yeah, in a court case, yes, they are. At trial, yes, they are. All of this is extremely important. What the fuck were y'all doing with something for 7 days? And then they all meet up on October the 11th to have a fucking sit down with prosecution, with Mike D. Prill. And they're like, you need to jimmy this the fuck up. You're not putting this in. You're getting rid of that. You're not putting this in. And that's exactly what he did. That 50-page report is fucking shit. Absolute shit. I've found more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And you can't sit here and say, oh, that was just like a quick done thing. Like, no, this is... Chris Watts hasn't taken a deal. Chris Watts hasn't done shit. You're supposed to be, you're doing this like anything else. You're going to trial. This is what you would have had for trial. What are you going to produce this and be like, okay, no, now we're going to produce something else? Doesn't make any sense. Unless you know something we don't know. Unless you plan on trying to hide something. Or unless you know that this motherfucker is not going because he already said, deal me, because his team told him, we're going to deal you. All those public defenders, horse shit. I caught them lying to me. I can prove it with emails. I caught his public defender in a flat out fucking lie. Saying that Walsh was in contact with Watts back then when I was doing all that shit. No, he wasn't. She flat out lied. And guess what? When I called her ass out the next day, guess who's fucking calling Chris? John Walsh. Sam, we got a really stern email. Yeah, exactly. Because you guys have been fucking lying since day one. You guys did a big old favor for the old boys club. And that's who got fucking help. All these people, go look. Everybody involved with the Watts case got promoted. Every single one of them. There was no way that this could go to court. Period. So, but when you just go ahead and you actually like put everything together and look at stuff, I guess my biggest question always was, if Chris Watts is so fucking guilty, then you don't have to do any of this stuff. And guilty or not, we need to hold the people that are in power positions accountable, the people that we vote for. So if anybody out there wonders why the hell I did any of this, I saw corruption. It is corruption. It was a horrible case for a nonprofit to take on as its first case, no doubt about it. But it is corrupt. It's corruption. It's no different than what's happening to Sheldon Jeter Jr. The only difference is that Sheldon's completely innocent. And after all the work that I've done and seeing their slop fest, they made some big, big mistakes. And enough so that it's worth finding out the hire date of Nicole Kessinger at Anadarko. It's enough looking into of if you can get Nicole Kessinger's PR stuff. Hit up that PR firm. I don't think that's protected. You'd have to figure out a crazy way to get it, but the 35C would have gotten it. McDonald's supervisor contact info. You're getting McDonald's supervisor stuff on October 13th. Like, what a shit show. And remember this, guys? He said, there's a myriad of things that we have to go over October 11th. And if you go and you look let's check it out. If you actually go and look at all the things that they did after October 11th, it's rather telling of what the things that they needed to follow up with were. Things like toe slips, evidence logs, court-ordered production of records for phones. That was October 9th. McDonald's supervisor contacted. I laugh at that. Phone interview with NA about alcohol consumption. Just so you guys know, that's report 97. Why do they have to follow up with the alcohol consumption? And if you want to compare something, compare the Gabby Petito autopsy. I'm sorry, not the Gabby Petito. Kylie. Compare Kylie's and Shanann's autopsies. Okay? You compare those two autopsies. Straight up, in Shanann's autopsy, it is BAC. Okay? And then there's ethanol. It is separated. Okay? And that's where Jane, that blood alcohol, that is not from decomposition. Check out the toxicology report. It's separated. And they are listing it as BAC. October 12th, requested through email copies on the fetus. October 26th, the red car, Betty and David, the neighbors. November 13th, questioning Patricia Party Patty about the time of the NA call. Why? Because somebody called at 9 a.m. October 16th. What's his name? David, his letter to Chris Watts in jail. They have a phone interview about it. November 14th, the interview, Addie Maloney, as far as alcohol consumption of Shanann. November 14th, the phone call with David, again, was submitted then into evidence. What else? October 9th. Oh, evidence logs. October 7th. Very, very important, that date. It didn't go in until October 12th, again, after the defense had already asked. Custody of makeup bag and fetus was October 7th. Asked for on September 27th. Meeting with Frankie Jr., Rorick, and several DDAs. That was on August 20th. That was not put into evidence until September or October 7th. So the interview with Nicole Atkinson and her son, 360 Life, all that stuff that happened on August 20th, that happened the same day that Frank and Frankie and the DA and several other DDAs, they all met up on August 20th. That does not go into evidence until October 7th. Written up by Bumhauer. Again, Rusick's written statements were collected for case file October 2nd, but then not written up until October 7th. They needed to add info to supplement number 63 for the Zach Brick email, and that was because they're idiots. Number 68, tow truck driver for the Watts vehicle, October 4th. They were creating tag numbers for CDs given to the DA investigator, Kathy Holster. That was on October 2nd. What else did they do? Oh, November 8th. So check this out. August 18th is when it went in, which was the court orders and search warrants for Facebook, etc. They didn't get it back, allegedly, until November 8th. November 8th. So that's why it wasn't in his report. Because Facebook, the search warrant for Facebook, etc. And when they say etc., they're talking about like Vivint. They're talking about a lot of shit. It's not just Facebook. But that would be November 8th. The listings of extingent requests, November 2nd. But that was put in on August 16th. Court order for production of records for Comcast. Set up interview time with Nate T. That was on October 1st. This doesn't make sense. October 26th, that is report 101 with the interview with Nate. Fucking nowhere to be found. You're not able to find report 101. In fact, let's see here. Where does it stop? All the reports that are missing are from 95 on. So, but October 26th, the court order for production of records for Comcast, that came back. And just so you know, nothing was recorded on Nate's camera. So at trial, there would be no camera. There's no footage, none, from on the day of the murder. That night, into the middle of the night, and then that day, there was nothing recorded on that day when the warrant came back. Nothing recorded. So good luck. Again, there's nothing on Nate's camera, so they would have to be things like the body cam footage of the one cop while standing in front of the television. Again, everything's just going to come down to admissibility if this was to ever go to, trial. This was just a complete fuck job. And you can either say that they're incompetent or that they needed to hide stuff. I don't give a fuck what you say, but and I put my knowledge on this case up against anybody in the fucking world. So everybody can fucking kiss my ass. Listening to fucking Dave. Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking moron. We're coming to America. Woohoo! Listening to fucking Kim. Listening to Carol and D. Oh, shit. Oh, boy. Any questions? Mike D. Prill just got his ass handed to him. Have a good day. Have a good night there, Mike. Hopefully you retire soon. I'm just surprised that nobody that's like psycho crazy podcaster hasn't been able to land like an interview with one of these people from Primrose. Maybe nobody's tried. Maybe I should do it. Because they get paid dirt money, and I guarantee you those people aren't even there anymore. So it's not like they're going to worry about their job. Unless they were gagged. You hotted it. So yeah, any questions? Let's see. Hey guys, just right here. It's not my twin double. Shanann's phone was on. Shanann's phone was then turned off. Chris didn't shut off before he left that morning. Nicole Kassinger, without a doubt, Googled that name. I believe it because these dipshits, they messed up. And the guy admits that he was looking at all these images and doing stuff that was outside of the 6-week period. Again, one of you guys can go search for when Nicole Kassinger was hired by Anadarko. Because I don't think there'd be anything wrong as far as like Google searching somebody that, you know, if you work with somebody and you Google search because the dude wasn't wearing a ring, or because remember he was losing a bunch of weight and his ring didn't fit and stuff like that. I mean, think about how many people we search. We Google, we put in our search bars. Now, can you imagine someone saying that you had an affair with that person? You're like, what? No, I was just creeping on, you know, thought he was hot or whatever. Have you heard the latest of ED? Shanann rang her mom that morning after Chris said he was leaving. What? That's... Is this true? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Shanann rang her mom. No, what I could see happening though is I could see Shanann's phone calling her mom because like Nicole Atkinson used it to call her when she got there. You know what I'm saying? Wait, so also Chris had help to park his stuff in the basement? What? You know, I don't know what they smoke over there, but I could see this happening. If you want to say that it was Shanann's phone that called her mom, yeah, that could have happened. Hi everyone, popping in to say, oh, you'll like this one. This is a good episode. Think Mensa thinks that as well. It's too much for my brains. The only way that's possible is if her phone was used. Her phone could have been used because her phone was there. Her phone was on. But do they say why? Do they say why do they just say it? Like, Jesus. I just gave in this past 2 hours and 30 minutes more information than I think all of them combined in the past year. Why don't they just find out who shut off Shanann's phone? It's very simple who shut it off. N.A. baby. N.A. baby. The moving day theory, Lana. Yeah, she was moving, no doubt. Or she was like throwing their shit out, like his shit out. There's no doubt that was happening. I mean, your man's sticking it to somebody else. You think you're going to sleep with them the next night? But they weren't even sleeping on the same bed as it was. Like, They enhanced the audio between Chris and Ronnie and think they said stuff. Have they played it? Play it. Because of something Ronnie said to Chris. I was with Ronnie. No. Ronnie said it when he was talking to Chris because of something Ronnie said to Chris. They enhance. Yeah, you would need to watch the last 3 nights' shows, to be honest. I'm good on that. You know, it's just very simple. Why don't you guys just ask Dave? You know, because there's a lot of things. Would I ask Cindy a damn thing? No. Would I ask Ronnie something? And, you know, if he doesn't know something, he says it, you know. But we sat in front of lawyers and we were telling them things, and, you know, not once did that ever come up. So, no. You have to remember, like, they didn't know anything. Chris didn't tell his parents anything about any of it. Chris didn't hardly talk to his parents. Chris said, they helped me downstairs. They helped me downstairs. They think Cindy knows nothing. Well, Cindy doesn't know anything. Dave is going to ask Ronnie soon. He said, Alive is lined up. Ask. Dave wants Sav Girls views and subs. Give it a couple more months. They're going to realize it's a bore fest over there. So, I mean, let's see. And she called her mom, according to AD. So, let me get this straight. Chris wakes up. He wakes her up. They have an emotional conversation. He goes and gets his vehicle. He backs it up. Meanwhile, the girls are sleeping, and he's never supposed to do that. But he backs it up and loads up the vehicle, which is like a fucking shovel. Takes him, I don't know, 26 minutes, I think. And then pulls away. Everybody's alive. And Shanann's like, let's go. We're packing up. We're out of here. Dude, you can try to cipher Ronnie for days. That ain't never going to happen, man. It is. Now, did he tell Shanann he was leaving? Absolutely, because what does Epple say in his thing? He's like, yeah. The week prior to, he said, hey, if my truck isn't parked at the house because it's GPS, I want you guys to know, and it's because I'll be staying at a friend's house. Do I think that has to do with premeditated murder? Absolutely not, because premeditated murder would mean that he doesn't need to stay at a friend's house. He'll stay at the house. It's like any relationship, guys. The person that doesn't want it to end is thinking that they can do all these things and they're going to save it. The best thing to do when somebody wants out is, as hard as it may sound, is to literally ghost the fuck out of them. You have to make somebody miss you if you ever want them back. Nobody wants what they can have. But never mind all of that. Back to your stuff. I just think it's funny that they keep just making complete fucking shit up. NK was at the house when Shanann came home that night. Again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just reading stuff. Well, and she called her mom, according to AD, and they think Cindy knows nothing. Cindy knows nothing, period. That doesn't matter what theory, what happened. I was actually talking about this with somebody before I came live, and I said, anybody out there that says that phone wasn't on is an idiot. The phone was on, and then it was turned off. It's proven literally by numerous ways. And so that tells me that somebody shut the phone off after the fact and when Chris was at work. And everybody should know who that person is. And people be like, yeah, it was NK. She was in there. It was her. It was NK. No, it wasn't NK. For as nosy as fucking Nate is, you don't think he would have said, I saw some girl. Fuck out of here. It's funny that Nate's camera doesn't pick up anybody. Doesn't pick up NA, doesn't pick up NK. Just crazy. And it comes back with the warrant. It comes back as there was nothing recorded that day. So, let's see. Oh, God, I missed all this. The dream was, there was a dream? The dream was the phone call NK and 2 others was in the house. It doesn't make sense to me. This was all over a dream? These motherfuckers just need to stop. NK did a drive-by. I don't think she murdered anyone or in the house. Again, I'm just reading stuff. It only picks up Chris. Interesting. Yep. And if Shanann Watts killed the kids, how could there be shadows walking to the truck? So now the FU was to NK. I just keep going back to this, guys. Chris is a pussy. Chris is a coward bitch. And if any man that says it and is willing to take a plea deal and say that he harmed his kids and let his whole family think that, he's exactly where he belongs. Anybody that lets Kim Kaufman tell them what happened, they're idiots. Other people there to help him move. She was upstairs crying. She found out about apartment and Shanann Watts called her mom on the phone. Ronnie said that's when she started crying and Chris said yes. Oh my God. Oh, bless their hearts. Well, Chris called Cindy and told Cindy on the Tuesday on March 24th or 23rd of 2021 that he remembered everything and he killed everybody. So there's that. Was to his 3 cohorts and 80 jobs. So you believe they have who did it? What? Seriously, you got to listen to this from AD and challenge him. It sounds pretty plausible. Let me tell you guys something. I was in Denver with Ronnie. I'm a very as ADD as as I can be. I pay attention to fucking shit like a hawk. Ronnie has no idea what has happened. None. Ronnie and Cindy were always out of the loop as well as Jamie. They didn't know anything ever. They didn't hang out on holidays. They didn't hang out, like, just nothing. Shanann played games, according to Ronnie, and I saw some text messages, and yeah, I would agree. You don't let us meet you at the beach, but then the next week you're sending us a 3D or 4D ultrasound picture of the baby. Like, so yeah, do I think that that's fucked up? Absolutely. But if any of this, what is being said right now, remotely happened, we were in Denver, we were with amazing lawyers, and this stuff would have come up, and none of it did. To the point of, Ryan doesn't know anything. He's no help. He doesn't know anything. Cindy doesn't know anything. She says the same story over and over and over. Why? Because it's the only fucking thing that she knows, was when she had the kids for a couple days at her house. And then all fucking shit went to, they didn't go back there. But just fucking stupid. Bunch of idiots. If I told you I could possibly think it's true, I would tell you that. I asked Chris if they had like a Life 360 app. Did Shanann keep track of y'all? No, we didn't have anything like that. Or if we did, I didn't know. That's what he told me. About this newfound... Was it moving day? Of course it was moving day. Of course it was. It was moving day in the sense of all shit had broke out loose in Arizona with her friends. They all found out everything. When I'm saying everything, think of all of us right now being all on a trip. Think about the girls all getting together, drinking, and going ham and looking up everything to help their friend realize that her husband's a cheating bastard. And it ain't that hard when your fucking husband is using his personal cell phone to do everything. You look up the fucking number, you dial it, or you fucking look it straight up, you Google search it, come on, people. Boom. They knew who Nicole Kessinger was in Arizona, and if not earlier, meaning right before leaving. You think that Shanann was okay with Chris just being in the basement sleeping and she's just upstairs sleeping? Wouldn't she be demanding him to be up there with her? Chris, I haven't seen you in how long and you're sleeping downstairs? Why isn't that happening? Or did it happen? And he's like, no. Or, there's so many text messages that were left out of timeline transactions that on that specific night. She's upstairs literally texting with her friends until 3:42 in the morning. To the point that Addie's waking up Eastern Standard Time and texting her then again at 5:42, which was 8:42 Eastern Standard Time. But there's Shanann popping straight up. And do I think that people were stupid? It's just, you're oblivious to things. Chris was oblivious his whole life with her. What am I right about? What am I right about? These people are just idiots? Probably. But, I just can't believe that 750 fucking people want to seriously sit and listen to that shit. LOL everything. Thanks. Do I think that Shanann was capable of taking everything that Chris loved away from him? Absolutely. That's why I could swing it and tell you guys the way that it went down. If you think that Shanann did it, here's how that would have happened. And why. And the psyche behind it. And the psyche behind it is that I believe if you think that way, Shanann was never supposed to die that night, and that she was planning on blaming Chris for killing the kids, and he was going to do time for that. He was going to, like, people take away everything that you love. That would be, you know, who was spiraling before Denver? It wasn't Chris. It was Shanann. Or not Denver, but before her going to Arizona. Like he's off having, like, you know, bachelorette time, bachelor pad time. And why would he need to kill his kids? But then you have to ask yourself with Cadel and that whole book thing, like, why is he saying the shit that he's saying, right? That's just, who would ever talk like that? Even if you did it, why the fuck would you ever repeat anything like that, you sick fuck? God bless your soul, you know? And I just think it's a waste of fucking time. I think it's a waste of time because the people that are behind it are a waste of fucking time. If it was people that were, you know, in my opinion, gracious and thankful for help and really wanting, no. Absolutely not. When you surround yourself with dumps, you're a dump. Anybody that keeps somebody like KK as a best friend, you got to ask yourself a lot of questions. But it's, you know, do I think that Shanann was capable of doing something like that? No, you don't want to think any parent's capable of that. You know? No, I mean, that's just fucking disgusting. Do I think that, you know, do I think Denver is to blame? Weld County? Fuck yeah, I do. These idiots. None of this would be going on if these fuckers didn't screw this whole thing up. None of this would be happening right now. Shanann would be resting peacefully. So would the babies. And so would the unborn baby. Like, Weld County did this. I've always said it. If I was the Rusiks, I would sue. I think that they should sue. You know, when I saw Frank Rusick talking about, like, that these YouTubers are doing this and this and this and this. These YouTubers are doing this. Your DA lied and said that he was going to Aspen with his fucking girlfriend when Shanann made the plans, and Amanda Thayer said it in her interview. I was watching the kids because Shanann wanted to go to Aspen with Chris. Now explain to me, was Chris going to take Nicole Kessinger and they were going to have a fucking threesome? Because that would have been some awesome shit then. Sign me up to watch that shit. Can you imagine that? That cat clawing. Definitely defensive wounds then. But I mean, just to hear the DA flat out lie. And that's the only thing that you would come up with in the press conference. Totally not prepared. He's an ass clown. And to think these motherfuckers get voted in. That's what's so sick. Who votes for these fucking people? Y'all get what I mean? Jesus. Oh my God. Judges are voted on. People get out and vote. Mod Squad loves her subs. Hot damn. Lana, that was my first super chat ever. Ever? Stop it. Oh my God. Boom. Lana's right. Lana's always right. No, I mean, I'll tell AD. I'll talk to him about it. I mean, I'll laugh him out the room with that. I mean, obviously I love AD and have respect and everything like that, but just wild. Dave refuses to talk to me. I love it. Everyone's scared, man. I'll talk to them about any case. It's listening to some of these people talk about cases. I'm just like, I listen for 2 minutes and I shut it off. I can't. Even stuff like about, everything that's going on right now. I'm like, where's people's heads? Oh, that's right. They're just too busy kissing everybody else's ass. So, oh my God, yeah, here, you want to come on panel? Here's my, yeah, let's get 10 people on panel here. Here we go. Oh God, yeah, here we go. Here you go. You got a nice place here, Lana. Oh yeah, this is the best crew ever. A-team. Honestly, and it's because we don't put up with the shit. Like, I'm not having trolls in here, and I don't want people getting trolled. And I know that it's a lot when you have, like, a lot more in chat to keep track of, but, I used to have 400, 500, 600 people in chat, all the time. But when you got scandal after scandal going against you, this is what happens, Lana is pretty awesome. I've been listening. I've cooked dinner, ate, and cleaned up. Where's my dinner, man? That's what I always notice is I do these lives at this time, and I look down, I'm like, shit, I gotta go get some dinner in me. Oh, I love it. Hearted. 80 is a whistleblower, he said. Whistleblower? A whistleblower is somebody that, like, I look at a whistleblower like an eyewitness to something. I don't know how he could be a whistleblower. He wasn't there. If anyone gets overwhelmed by Wart's drama, let me know and I'll play weird music for hours. Dave did say if I play his lives or his videos that he is going to strike me. Dave, you cannot strike me. Okay? You can't. Not if I'm doing like commentary over it, which I always do. I don't just fucking live stream people. That's pathetic. But you're damn right if I'm going to point out funny ass shit like somebody goes and gets my son an attorney, like the best in town, and then my wife and I know that one of the people on the trip like totally mailed themselves weed and the other person on the trip, and like we just think it's fine. I couldn't believe that. Cindy. Oh, yeah, I know. Kelly got her weed, no problem. You knew about this? Yeah, I mean, I just can't, I wouldn't have done it, but yeah, Kelly got hers perfectly fine. What the fuck? We're in Denver to get a goddamn attorney for your son. But everybody's okay because everybody got their weed. I was like, well, I ain't getting caught up in none of y'all shit because y'all dumb. That's some dumb shit. With the amount of fucking trolls in this case, okay? Because you know how many more trips we would have had doing shit being around these motherfuckers? Hell no. I was like, dude, now I know why your fucking son got caught. Bunch of dumb fucks. Oh my God, yeah, Kelly got hers, no problem. Well, Jay didn't, okay? And I don't know what the fuck's going on, but this is some crazy shit. Fuck. And what scares me is that, and I kept saying this to people, I don't give a fuck if you smoke weed. I don't give a fuck what y'all do. I'm like, why the fuck is Dre telling on fucking Jay? Why am I being told about this? And y'all know about it already. And I said, okay, well then let's all just talk about it. What do you want to do? Why did I walk into Lana's laugh? Because Lana's funny. It's just like, and this is my response. Did anybody apologize to you, Cindy? Like, that's all we need. Like, hello, there's all these trolls out here and everybody hates on everybody. So once I knew that was getting out, it was a matter of like, we didn't do this. we need to separate from this, because if we don't, then what? And honestly, I don't even blame Jay anymore. I blame the fucking haters. You fucking smoked weed with her all weekend, and then you fucking... So stupid. So fucking stupid. Fucking everyone's jealous as fuck of everybody. Sorry, I was working. Well, duh, you gotta pay my motherfucking mortgage. Love you, Boston. Oh, once you cross state lines, it's federal, honey. So, fuck, little, big. That motherfucker went across state lines. But just the response of Cindy that day. Oh my God, I know, but Kelly got hers fine. Well, great for fucking Kelly. Oh my God. Just don't say anything. Just, Kelly, what? This isn't about people. This is about... Oh, shit, man. I plead the fifth if someone was to ask me about it now, though. I don't know, because I don't know. What do I know? All the fucking shit that people mix up and do? Nope, y'all can fend for yourselves. Horrible. Kelly got hers, though. Wait, what? You knew about... That's what I said. It's like, you knew about this? Well, okay, so what are we going to do about this? Because I just got bombarded by two motherfuckers. And it's like how I felt was if they're going to do something about this. And I don't want any part of it. Like, I don't know what to do, but I'm telling you, those people are out for blood. Those blood-sucking hound motherfuckers, they're coming. They wanted Jay on a platter. That's all I know. Crazy. All for what? Turned down for what? I hate nobody, but my heart was broken when someone was looking in a fake airport for a free pug. Excuse me? I mean, girl, what are you talking about? All right, that's like when Lana needs to go with these type of comments. So 80 says it was moving day. Mensa says it was moving day. It's fucking moving day. You guys, it's always been moving day. Cassie was moving in. They were going to be paying the rent with Shanann. Obviously, Chris was moving out. What I thought was funny is that they kept asking Chris, hey, is it still okay if we move in with you? And he's like, yeah, bro, because he knew he wasn't going to be there. Someone needs to pay this mortgage. It's crazy. Free pugs. Those crazy ass people always spreading their hate and lies are worse than hammered dog. Only reason Boston came in here was to see JJ. I love it. Maybe we can get a marriage going out of my channel. Moving day. Shanann calls her mom. Fuck. God bless America. Yeah. And then what? Sandy was just like, I'm just going to call the school. These dumb motherfuckers, man. Yeah, it was moving day, but Sandy wanted to call the school. 3 times. Sorry. God, it was moving day for everybody. Everybody was moving on, man. Single 7 years? Ugh. Hang with the strippers, man. That's funny. We're going to have a 4-way marriage here. We're all marrying JJ. Explain that to me. Let's see. Check the knives. An hour earlier. Hello, this is Sandy Rusick, and I'm just calling. Just to let you know that everything's fine. Don't tell anybody I called. Okay, bye. An hour before that. Hi, just calling. Are you sure the girls aren't there? And then 2 hours before that. Hi, are the girls there? This is Sandy Rusick. Or really was it Nicole Atkinson? Pretending to be Sandy. You know what's nuts is like Primrose, like they have caller ID, so why doesn't somebody get the 911 call and ask again and get it so the number of the caller is shown? How about that? I'm just curious if the caller was Cassie. Because if they were like on 3-way. Well, here, I'll just call and then we'll mute and, you can talk to them. Moving day. Fuck shit. Well, of course it was moving day. You guys, hello, they were putting the house up for sale. It's fucking moving day. People are moving in, people are moving out. But it definitely was not. People were alive, packing bags and throwing them down the fucking stairs. The best is when I hear, Lana, how could Nicole Atkinson be sleeping downstairs and not hear anything? It was not a bloody fucking horror movie upstairs. Like, what do you think went on up there? No offense, but if someone's smothering you, you're not being heard. I mean, Jesus, when you're getting choked out, you're not getting heard about anything. When you're being smothered, there's nothing to hear. How could Nicole just sleep through that? That house, first of all, was huge, and that basement, that door's closed. Even if there was, noises or whatever. But just regardless. You know what I thought was weird? Is that Shanann is sending Cassie like a list of like Jody J. DeLuca, Melissa Horn, Kimberly, and then a Janet Roberts. These were these counselors. Why was Shanann sending them to Cassie? Like, think about that. On Sunday at, 2:28. Why is she sending? Like, here, like, look these people up. Tell me who you think. Who would you go with type of thing? Because how I could see it would be the opposite way, which would be Cassie sending them to Shanann saying, here, because we were sitting down together, like, laying out. And these are the ones that I looked up and that I found. And so, like, I forwarded them to her. I think it's interesting that Shanann didn't have any defensive wounds. I think that... Do I think that she was drugged? Fuck no. I think if you're smothered in your sleep, though... But see, that proves that there wasn't a confrontation. Or if she, in fact, was, on top of a child, and then she gets blindsided, taken down, and, I'm going with my original thing, which is fuck them all. You failed those fucking little babies. All of them. You're parents, man. You protect your kids. That's all we're reading about right now is people doing stuff to their children. Like, what is wrong? How do you even... what are you thinking? And how does that even happen? Like, oh my God. Like, the thought of, even... when you have to discipline your kid sucks. You know what I mean? No one wants to yell at their kid, and no one, that's just the worst ever. But yeah, and that's what I've always thought too. But there's multiple reasons why, Chris had no reason to do anything to anyone. Chris was in the driver's seat. Chris has the job. Chris has the insurance. Literally, Chris had everything. Chris made all the money. Chris took care of the kids. Yeah, is he going to have to pay her child support? Yeah, but I did all the math in one of my lives way back in the day. Pennies compared to what was going on as far as finances. And I believe that Nicole Kessinger told him that. Even if you had to pay child support, it's going to be pennies compared to what you're paying in daycare. Who even knows if... I think he knew what he was paying. So it's... there didn't need to be no big plan to take out your family to be with Nicole Kessinger. The other part that people just really aren't getting is Nicole Kessinger said it best. What did Chris think? That he could eliminate his family and I'm not going to be like, where's your family? One day when you tell me that they're not there, they're just like, oh, okay, that sounds great. Let's go out to dinner. What? She knew. She knew that he had kids. You have to look at people's personalities. The guy doesn't do one thing his whole life, never in trouble. He doesn't snap. Even all the times that I would talk to Ronnie on the phone with everything that was going on, Ronnie never raised his voice once. Like, he avoids confrontation. Same with Chris. Like, they're yes men. Chris is a yes man. Chris isn't a planner. You know, Googling when to say I love you. Enough fucking said, okay? I mean, fuck. And I think that's what Shanann meant when she, like, he doesn't have game. Like, he's not gonna, like, woe you. Like, that's just not him. But, like, as much as, like, he didn't have game, she just flat out fucking sucked. Like, they just weren't compatible. Like, you think that she's going to go to the sand dunes and do that? You think that she's going to go camping? You think she's going to go and sit at the Bandway Speedwagon, blah, 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 do all that? No. When did you ever see pictures of them doing any of that shit? Never. So just as much as, like, they weren't, like... And they didn't, like, go out and, like, tote around town and, like, meet up with people and let's go to this pub or let's check out this place. And I get if you're not, like, much of, like, a drinker and stuff like that. You don't have to drink to, like, you know, go out and, you know, try different restaurants or, like... But they lived in Frederick, guys. Frederick fucking blows. There's nothing the fuck there. I was there. Frederick blows. You're driving all over to get somewhere remotely decent. Do I think Denver blows? Fuck yeah, Denver blows. Do I think Colorado as a whole blows? Fuck yeah. Fuck Colorado. Stuffy climate. Fuck John Elway. It just... You know, it just, to say that he snapped over what? Like, you're never going to see the kids again. Okay, great, Shanann. Like, you couldn't believe that was going to happen. That's not going to happen. Like, you're never going to see the kids again. Okay, sounds good. You don't think they've had fights like that? Like, they'd ever had a fight like that? I'm moving the kids to North Carolina. No, you can't. Like, you can't. No court is going to allow that. But then again, like, I mean, again, this is just, like, logic. Like, were these two people, like, just totally fucking idiots? Like, there's no logic. Like, how does it get to the point that it got? Like, no joke. Like, think about it. Like, what are you going to say? I caught you cheating. Yes, you really cheated. I can't believe, like, okay, I just wouldn't admit it. I wouldn't admit it to her, and all she wanted me to do is admit it. Okay, so that doesn't happen. So then what? Then you just decide when she goes to sleep, I'm just going to fucking take her out? Like, what would be possibly said to get to that point? Just think about this. You're exhausted, dead tired from a trip, right? Or are you on adrenaline kick because you're just fuming heat? I mean, you know, Shanann's not a non-confrontational. She'll just, you know, come right at him. So can I see that happening that night? Sure. But just like how I could see Chris being like, you know, whoa, calm down, like, you know, chill or whatever, like, no, it's not like that. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. And him probably just trying to tell her anything to calm her down. Like, even, like, lying in a sense. Like, yeah, we went to dinner, but that was it. Like, it's not like that. However, but what? Like, she just came in acting like that, and he was just like, that's it, I had it, and took her out. And then, oh, wait, the kids are right here, too, so let me just take them out. And he makes a comment like, well, nobody knows what they would do in a situation like that. I panicked. Okay, I panicked. yes, you would panic in a situation, but that would not lead you to kill your kids. That's not what that is. Even after taking down Shanann, let's say the kids were alive, that would be the last thing on your mind, is then that you would need to kill your kids. Because your whole life, you're protecting your kids, and then all of a sudden you're going to kill your kids because of a snap situation. Yeah, panic doesn't lead to that. You know, if you go back and you just look at certain things and you want to talk about a pattern, and you just have to take out the history, not the history, take out the end result and look at the two people and look at their patterns of life. Who had this dark side to them? Shanann, not Chris. So, like, again, take the result, put it out of your system right now, and think about these two human beings and think about their history. Okay? And that, to me, when they want to talk about what fascinates anybody with this case, it's going to be that. It's going to be, there's no signs of anything like this, but you actually have a woman who actually has a dark past. People have said it. Her family has said it. She herself has said it, recorded herself, and put it out there for the world to see. And that Chris basically saved her and blah, 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 blah. So, according to Cindy, Shanann wanted to blow up the Escalade that man bought her, by the way. And he, meaning Chris, Shanann wanted Chris to rig the fucking, what was it? The engine. I looked at Ronnie because this was being said in Denver, and he's like, yeah, no, this is true. I said, what? Yeah, because he wanted the guy that owned the Dirty South or whatever tire place, whatever the fuck his name is. This is what Cindy told me, that Shanann wanted Chris to blow up the fucking engine and ruin the Escalade that she had to return back because it wasn't hers. But, you know, when they met, like, that's what she was pushing around town. I never realized that was true. Well, according to them, it's true. They told me that. And so, like, when you think about something like that, you're like, just to be a vindictive bitch? Yeah, just to fuck the car up. Not that he's going to drive, wreck, and die in it, but just to, like, you know, fuck with it. Fuck the car up. Why? That's what a spiteful, that reminds me of somebody from Watts Island would do that. But, like, think about that mentality. Think about if Shanann knew how to fucking do it, it would have happened. She knew that Chris knew how to fuck with cars. Can you do this? It's not so much anger, I don't think. I think she's spiteful. Her and her mom, spiteful. Like, they, you know, they're, that mentality of, like, let's say I'm allergic to dogs, but you're not, and here's a beautiful puppy, but I can't have it, so I don't want you to have it because I can't have it. So I don't want you to have it. So there you go. So what do? I purposely let the dog out of the house, and the dog runs away so that you can't have it. That type of shit. Like, who the fuck thinks like that? Well, Shanann did. Who the fuck would blow somebody's engine up? I mean, go back to look at the past. How are you buying that house? Where's that cash coming from? What the fuck's going on here? And then you look at Chris's simple fucking lifestyle. He gets up, goes to look, same thing with Ronnie. Ronnie gets up, goes to work, comes home, and it's a fucking shit show. Every time Ronnie gets home, it's a shit show. Why? Because fucking Cindy and KK are talking all fucking day, doing God knows what. Literally. The man would go to work, come home, and be a shit show. Same thing with fucking Chris. Man gets up, goes to work, comes home, takes care of his kids. He's exhausted, wants to go to bed. She's like, why are you trying to sleep? Well, I don't know, because I fucking worked all day. And then I took care of the kids. Now I'm exhausted. Do I think that you get to a point and then you just snap? Do I think that Chris resented her? Do I think that you realize a lot? Yeah, Chris realized things when he met Nicole Kessinger, no doubt. Okay? But he was realizing stuff about, like, himself. Like, you'll realize that you're not happy. It doesn't mean that the person that you realize that with is going to be the person that's going to make you happy, but you realize that you aren't happy. And you realize that the only thing, like your kids, that's what's making you happy, your kids. Jeremiah, Lana, I'm glad you're talking about this because I wanted to hear your point of view. You know, someone's past, it's one thing to make mistakes because, like, you're young and dumb and, you know, whatever. But your character, that's always going to be there. Like, oh God, yeah, I was young and dumb and did, you know, blah, blah. But, like, your core, like who you are as a human, your character, your morals, your standards, all of that. I don't care if you're fucking 18 or if you're 81. Who you are is who you are. And, I don't believe that Tammy Lee put that in Chris's head, by the way. She was giving out lots of examples of things that day. So she can just, and everybody else can just sit and spin with that. She said a bunch of shit that day. So for him to just come up with that story, no. What's up, Bella girl? What's up, girl? What's up, LO? What's up? Chris said he didn't realize his marriage was bad until he met NK. Yeah, and I think that that's normal, though. You know, because I don't even want to say it's like that you realize it's bad. It's just, you're not happy. There's a difference of just like, you can love somebody, but doesn't mean like you're in love and that you have the same, like the things that he was even doing with NK, like he was even like doing like buddy type stuff, like, they just didn't. Chris isn't a break the rules type guy, and I think Shanann is. I don't think anything was wrong with their kids as far as one of them being like scared or shy or timid or this or that. Like, I wish people would stop talking about that. Because if that in fact is true, like when the kids were born, Shanann's parents came and lived with them. Okay. They were never by themselves as a couple for more than like, you know, a couple some months. And then guess what would happen? They're just a financial shit show. Financial stuff will cause you stress. Shanann was lying to Chris about their finances. That's 100% fact. They couldn't afford things, and she just wanted to keep doing things, and there's just no money there. How the fuck are you going to ask them with no money? Think about that. Think about that, Rorik. Stupid fucks. Just stupidity. I don't know why Chris took the plea deal. Don't know why. Honestly, don't care. I think Chris is a pussy. I think he's a coward. I think that regardless, you were supposed to protect your kids. And he didn't do that. So. I think that Shanann's full of shit when she would say that she was scared after something about like not wanting the baby. Well, then why did you go to Arizona? Why would you leave Chris with your children if you were scared after he said he didn't want the child that you were carrying? That makes no sense. I know that I wouldn't have went on that trip to Arizona. Fucking no way. Absolutely. I don't care. Who cares about the money that, whatever, you're not going. Like, think about it. What if Shanann doesn't go on that trip to Arizona? I would have never went on that trip. If my marriage was like that, absolutely not. No way in hell would I go on that trip. Honestly, I think that she went on the trip. I think she was treating it like a break from the children. She had the kids the whole time. You know, she just had them for 6 weeks straight, pretty much, and I think that that's why she went on the trip. That's the only reason, in my humble opinion. I wouldn't have won. Yeah, no offense, Arizona, but you'd have to pay me to go there. I don't think anyone, people that say like deserve to die, no one deserves to die. I just think anybody that uses that statement is fucking pathetic. Who said anyone deserves to die? The fuck out of here. I'm saying that as parents, we have to, like, this just, none of this stuff should be happening to children. Parents are the reason that this type of stuff happens to children. Because at the end of the day, whoever did it, it was either Shanann or it was Chris. Both of them were the parents. Okay? What the fuck? You know, it doesn't matter. And then if Ronnie and Cindy, as well as the Rusiks, were saying that, oh my God, everybody was so off and not acting right, then why the fuck did you let the grandkids be with some off motherfuckers? You know, if my mom saw me and was like, there's no way. No. You know, if Chris is driving 87 miles an hour. The sad reality is that you have everybody speaking nothing but kind things about Chris. No one came forward and said anything. And in fact, it was the opposite. You have fucking somebody like Trent Bolt. You have somebody like this, which all panned out to be complete bullshit. But how does that even get out to the public? How does that even fucking happen? Well, because you have a leak in the department. You have leaks and you need that stuff to get out to try to tarnish Chris's name. Why? Because it was that squeaky clean. I'm telling you, if this goes to trial, that's what they had to tell the Rusiks. They had to tell them that this can't go to trial. If it does, we can't preserve your daughter's reputation because stuff is going to come out and it's not going to be good. That's what I believe happened. Because, you know, otherwise there's things that would have already come out. Like Nicole Atkinson, produce your fucking phone records. Because you didn't call her, you didn't text her. You're a liar. You went over there in the morning, though, because that was the plan. Because she needed help. Just like she needed help all the other days before she went to Arizona. You went over there in the mornings. Why? Because Shanann was depressed. Hot ham! It's just sad. It's just sad. It's sad to see all these stories in the news about people harming their kids. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why the fuck do you have kids? What's up? I need to go eat dinner. Where should I go to dinner? Hi. Oh my god, yes. I don't know, what are we saying yes to? I gotta keep my eye on my chat. You guys got me 3.5 hours. I have to go. I have shit I have to do. Was the DA in North Carolina for 3 days? If so, do you think that was to seal records and put gag orders on people? I know that unless Cindy's wrong. I don't think Cindy's lying because it's not a lie. His public defenders went out to North Carolina. And when I told that to Jane, Jane said, what the fuck are you talking about? That's never, like... I've never heard of such a thing. Why would they fly out to North Carolina? We said, yeah, that's what we thought too. But it was to make sure that they did not switch lawyers. You know? Again... I can just tell you what I know, and what I know is that the public defenders lied to me. I think that they would lose on ineffective counsel because nobody would tell their client to take a plea deal without having the discovery. I think that Jane would have won a 35C. Now, does that mean anything? Like, it just, you guys... When you have really good fucking attorneys, amazing things can happen. Unfortunately, can it help people that maybe don't deserve it? Maybe. But I just think Chris's past deserved it. Something about his past being the way that it was, the truth in this case should come out. And I thought that he wanted that. Little did I know he's a fucking pussy-ass bitch. And when I hear things like, oh my god, I just don't want anybody talking on social media. I'm like, who's talking on social media? You don't even have fucking social media, so what the fuck do you even know? And then I said, which one of you motherfuckers is telling Chris shit? Oh, that's right. Chris can't know any of this stuff unless somebody's telling him. So when I hear shit like, oh, Chris doesn't want to go forward because it's, Kim G's getting, I'm like, who the fuck's Kim G? Who the fuck are these people? I don't even fucking know these people. I'm like, I don't even have a YouTube channel, bro. What do you want? That ain't me. I'm not planning on having a YouTube channel. Hello, Patty. Hello. I'm like, who the fuck is Kim G? Kim's suck, period, so I bet you she sucks. So fucking throw her out the window. Not physically, but, Who dates somebody in fucking prison? There's no conjugals. Like, what are you doing? You have to be watching porn every night, flicking your bean, and thinking about Chris Watts' fucking barf. You're right. Cindy admitted Shanann gave them Benadryl hell in front of her nightly, but just admitted that now. Better late than never. Everybody's always admitted that. Chris said that in his interview. I mean, but once again, anything that Chris says, who gives a fuck, because his credibility's shot. That's why I laugh when fucking Kim Coffin was like, but Chris can help us. No, he can't. Chris doesn't even know what fucking 4 + 4 is. Fuck out of here. Chris doesn't know shit. Who the fuck? That's what I always say. I'm always like, who the fuck are these people? I'll never forget when I was on the phone with him. I'm like, Kim G, who the fuck is Kim G? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Chris, like, plenty more bitches will come. Like, who cares? You're listening to someone like Kim Kaufman tell you who you can and can't be with. Dead. I mean, you had a Zoom with her. She had to show her face. Were you not, like, gagging? Think of me. I'm gonna write to him and ask him to draw a picture of his elbow and his ass. I'm going to actually write him and send him all my screenshots of all the things that Kim Kaufman told me in 2018. I'm going to send them. And then I just want to say, hey, not sure if you've ever seen these, but I think that you should. I just think it's kind of important to understand that that woman had an agenda, like, right after you got picked up. KK said they knew her, that she was friends with them. Oh my God, like, yeah, I was just Facebook friends with Shanann, and I just totally, like, defriended her, like, 6 months ago. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Who lies about that? Who lies about that? Does Zoom have fucking filters? Because I need to Zoom with my prison boyfriend tonight. And, like, I just need to take off about 60 pounds off my face. Like, what about here? Who Zooms about that? Dude, people believe a lot of this old shit still. What old shit? Like, I mean, why don't they just come here? I guess I just don't get it. I think people, like, don't want the truth. Let's just go and believe some fantasy fucking land. Like, yeah, it was moving day, man. And, like, Shanann called her mom. And, like, we were all going to eat pizza at, like, noon. And then, so, I don't know, everybody died. What? Yeah. Nicole Kessinger came over with a fucking AR-7 fucking 90 and just shot everybody. You didn't know about it? Oh, my God, really? No. No, not really. Well, there goes KK scheming to get out of that. No, I'm gonna give it to all the OK magazine. The same, like, she's been their source since day one. Who do you think goes and tells and has been telling stuff for these magazines, like People and all this bullshit? KK, like, duh. Hello, she's like the family person, source close to the family that's been giving all the information out. I mean, how about this? Why does Chris Watts keep picking women that he's never met over his kids? Does anyone care about that? That's why I said, fuck them. Cindy, Ronnie, Chris, fuck them. Anybody that just, like, is any part of that. Like, I would be... Do you understand? I told Ronnie and Cindy, especially Cindy, I said, Cindy, just because Chris calls doesn't mean you have to fucking pick up the phone. If you're doing something... He's going to call back in probably like an hour. You know? Oh, no, I couldn't do that. What? Why not? If you're watching your grandson, let's play baseball. Like, what do you think he's not going to call you back? What else is he fucking to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He has nothing. You're the only thing that he has. That's it. Don't pick up the phone. How about this? Yell at the motherfucker. Yell at him. Tell him he's a fucking piece of shit for fucking lying to you. Get all up in his ass. Like, what the fuck? Chris. Well, what about Bella Celeste? Bella Celeste. How about them? How about those names? Fuck out of here. pisses me off. That pissed me off. I got home from Denver and I'm like, shit. Chris. What about the fucking kids, man? And then I hear, oh, it's just so hard to talk about them. Do it, Chrissy. Do it, Chrissy Poo. Chrissy. No, if anybody can get anything out of Chris, it's going to be his dad. Chris has no respect for his mom. Sorry. Shanann and Cindy were the same people. I'll never forget when Cindy calls me. Lana, I just have to tell you, I'm so sorry, but I've been, this whole time you told me not to talk to anybody anymore, I still was doing it. Why are you apologizing to me? It's your fucking life. You're just fucking up your shit, not me. Hi, Alice. Is Alice here? Love my girl. Where's my... Yeah, what is good? Oh, you know me, just motherfucking people up. Just kidding. I gotta go eat dinner. I think it's Tuesday, so I think I'm gonna go do wing night. They have open mic night tonight at this place, and I feel like singing. So, because I'm such a singer. Did I ever tell you guys that time that I took my friends to a strip club and there was no strippers? It was the most overpriced lunch you could ever have. I'm like, oh yeah, they'll just be here any minute. Like, it's lunchtime. Like, they'll just stroll in, you know. First time ever that I went to a strip club and no strippers. True story. Can't make it up. Like, God, that was some good salmon, though. Lana, this has been another great live. You rock, girl. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've been listening to Mensa and saw Kelly's pics of the girls who, you're the best. So, Lana, what was forgotten to be mentioned is 80 is taking this stuff to the press, he said, right? Okay, so something to do with getting the case reopened with some law? No fucking clue. No clue. I don't know what they're up to over there. But what I can tell you is it wasn't moving day for anybody that was, I won't say it in the chat, calm down. Say what? Say my name, say my name. I'm gonna go sing. What song should I sing? I just think listening to these people talk about just with no facts. I mean, you can have opinions. Sounds great. I mean, but they just can't be like, hey, yeah, so Shanann called her mom. And then her mom called the fucking daycare 3 times looking for the kids. Come on, man. And they're going to say, oh, no, Sandy was just doing that just to throw everybody off. Just to throw everybody off. Oh, okay. Throw everybody off what? The cliff? That we're hanging on over here? Like, come to CT, I will take you to a strip club or to dinner. Yeah, something to do with evidence that was withheld. That'd be a Brady violation, but normally that has to go to trial. Definitely evidence was withheld, no doubt about it. I went over that today, but I actually showed like how. Please sing "Moving Out" by Billy Joel. Oh fuck yeah! Actually, I'm gonna play it. I'm moving out. Moving out. Yes, and I'm gonna end on this song. Is that all you get for your money? It seems such a waste of time. That's what it's all about. Mama, if that's moving up, then I'm moving out. Yes, Billy Joel. Who does not love Billy? All right, you guys are great. Love you guys. This is actually a really good episode. If you guys want to talk case with the Watts right here. Again, I challenge everybody, panel me on your panel. Come on over here to Hot Island, Warts Island, but stop being pussies. Learn about it. Be about it. Besides, I have fun. I mean, Jesus. Stop taking yourself so seriously. I wake up and there's Carolyn D. Carolyn D. Sitting on my face. Carolyn D, she changed her picture. She no longer has her cowgirl hat on anymore. She's like, way worse. Okay, Carolyn D, you just switch back your picture, get that cowgirl hat back on, or put like some cowboy boots on, throw your fucking legs up, and just change your profile picture, Carolyn D, okay? It's not the same. You can't go around hearting things now because it's just not the same. Don't make me, Carolyn D, switch my profile to your old profile just so I can see your profile. And there's Carolyn D writing the most vile shit, and you hearted it. Yes, you did. And then you go attacking the lesbian and gay community, Allie Erickson. Who said she attacked the gay community? And there's Heather Blair. She's a mother. She's a mother? The fuck she ain't. Dave, just so you know, Heather Blair is not a mother. She's a motherfucker, but she's not a mother. She is a fur baby mother. She might have some furs. Go to LaDonna's for grub. Come on now. I'm gonna go touch a bartender. Take care, guys. See you next time. Wow.